La 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 la. Da 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 da. Okay. That should work better. Does that work better? It had the wrong mic pulled. I don't know why. Um, Still shouldn't have been too bad, but thank you for letting me know, Peter. Okay, so again, you can't hear anything either, Tushar? Okay. I switched mics. I raised the volume. Let's see. Come on. Where am I going? Camera. Logio. Okay, there's my camera. Hello, hello, hello. My mic is showing that my camera, when I went into settings, it's showing that it's working. But if you guys can't hear me, let me know and I'll put in a different microphone. Just let me know. Okay. Okay. Hopefully you can hear me. If not, I may give up and try again a little bit later. So, our question is, what would you do? Thanks, Peter. Our question is, what would you do if you only had 12 years, but you knew that you had 12 years? So, what that means is that you knew that your expiration date was 12 years from now, but no matter what condition you're in, you would have to live those 12 years. So, no matter what you tried to do, you have those 12 years, whether you want them or not. So, that was the question. So, what kind of questions would you ask yourself and how would you prepare for that? Like, how would you react to that? Would you start looking at what kind of job you're working? Would you look at your education? Would you look at your quality of life? Would you look at how much money you have or how much money you're making? What would become most important if you know you have a decade or so to live? And the reason why I have it at a decade as opposed to having it shorter or longer is because if it's short, like 6 months, a year, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I would go crazy and I would just run up my credit cards and I would do this and I would do that." But there would be consequences if you did that now. Hi, Mandy. There would be consequences if you did that and you had 12 years to live. And some people are like, "Oh, I don't want to be around. I'm done already. I'm so tired." So if you're feeling like that, then 12 years could feel like forever. But if you knew you had to exist, you had to live through those 12 years, what would you do? So when my sound was out, we started using the Enchanted Map Oracle cards by Colette Baron Reed. And the first card we got was to heal the owie, which was so cute. It was just a really, really cute card. Um, and heal the owie to me meant that if you had a limited amount of time, one of the things you may want to do with your time is to really work on your relationships to make sure your relationships are solid. Spend time with people who want to spend time with you. You would heal your wounds. And I would feel that that would be whether or not you were you believed in past lives and future lives or anything like that, reincarnation. So regardless of whether you feel like you're going to be reincarnated or not, I would feel you would want to really make the choice to clean up your life and make sure the time that you have left, you're utilizing in a good way. So here's the first card that came out, which was Heal the Ouch, which I think that is adorable. Look at that. Look at that. That's so cute. Okay. And then we talked about also when I did the card originally, 38 is the number on the screen. Kind of look like 36, but 38 is the number. And what does that mean? 3 is about divinity. It's the mind, body, spirit. It's the Father, Son, Holy Ghost. It's about the divine nature of humans. So it's about your physical body and your emotional or spiritual body together makes 3. Then you have 8. 8 is about learning and going to school and becoming more. 8 on its side is the infinity symbol, and it's about the flow of energy and keeping the flow of energy. And then 3 plus 8 equals an 11, and 11 is a mastership number, which means that you begin to master your own role in the world. You master yourself. It could mean that you're teaching others also. But 11 is a mastership number, and 11 turns into a 2, and 2 is about the emotions and about the inner self. So Heal the Ouch is about going through the healing process, both for yourself and for those around you. It's about making the world a better place simply by being in it and coming back into your divine nature is what I would say. The second card we got was 46, and it says coming apart. So 46 is a 4, and 4 is the number of stability. It's the number of family. It's the number of 4 is the number of family and roots, like creating roots or having your roots or your family roots, however you want to look at that. 6 is the number of art and beauty and all things that are interwoven with the divine. So 4 plus 6 equals a 10, and a 10 is your mark on the world, how you affect the world, how you affect the world around you, what your place in the world is and what you're doing with it. So coming apart to me seems like not just removing yourself from other people and maybe being more discerning about who you're giving your time to and who you're spending time with, but also about like opening yourself up, becoming more vulnerable, looking inside and seeing like what are your components there. And it harkens back to the heal the owie, heal the ouch. I keep saying owie. I never had kids, right? um, it harkens back to that where we're looking deeply inside of ourselves to see what needs to be healed. Because whether you believe that there's nothing after this, whether you believe that there's heaven and you stop there, or whether you believe in reincarnation, any of those things while you're here, you would want to be whole and be able to put the best you forward and make your mark on the world moving forward. You would want to do this no matter what your belief system is, because regardless of your belief system, you could be wrong. Like if you're an atheist and you don't believe there's an afterlife, well, then all of a sudden you're there and there is an afterlife. You're like, oh crap, what did I do wrong? Was I too self-centered? What's happening here? What do I need to do? So moving forward, you would need to know these things, and you would want to look inside yourself and also look deeply into others. I think that one of the things that we do in our society that's kind of sad is that we don't really look into other people. There's a lot of, especially nowadays, a lot of judgment. There's so much judgment just on people using certain words or having certain opinions. And it's funny because for a long time I've taught people about romantic relationships and relationships in general. And the worst thing you could do to somebody when you meet them is find out this much, and then you have this big list of things that go with that, and you just staple it to their forehead. And you think, well, that's who they are now. I have these 82 things, and because they did the top 3 things, they are all 82 of those things, which how many of us are so in lockstep with any opinion that we will follow everything behind whatever that initial thing is? I would hope that most of you would say, "Well, most of us are not." You may agree with 10 things, and then there's 5 things you don't, or you might agree with 90 things, and there's 10 things that you don't. But we are seldom so in tune or so enamored with the philosophy or idea that we are in full belief of everything there is under that banner. So that's something we need to really look at and understand about other people. Allow people to reveal themselves to you. Maybe they hold an opinion that you don't like, but that doesn't mean that you don't like them or that they don't like you or that everything all the prejudices you have around that opinion actually are held by them or are actually who they are. I remember when I was younger, always being told that prejudice is fed by ignorance. So the less questions we ask, the less we allow people to show us who they are, and the less we look at who they really are and instead choose to look at uh, a fake mask or cloak that we might put around them, the less likely we are to have a very cohesive, loving society, because then it's us versus them instead of all of us being open to discovering who the other people are, which is really important for the world to become a place of peace and growth. So, since the question is, what would you do if you only had 12 years to live? You guys that are listening, if you could put something in the comments and just let me know what are some of the first things that you would think if you got that news, if suddenly you knew that 12 years from now you were going to cease to exist, what would be some of the things that you would think about, that you would have to consider, that you would want to look at? What would make changes? What would what would make you want to live differently, or maybe you feel like your life is very fulfilled and you wouldn't change anything? Spending time with loved ones. Thank you. Spending time with loved ones is a biggie. So, if you're someone who is a workaholic, a lot of us use work as a socially acceptable way to have an addiction or a socially acceptable way to not engage with the rest of our life. So there are people who choose, and I was one of them. I mean, when I was younger, I would work easily 60, 70 hours a week. There were a lot of times where I never came home from work. I would stay at work, sleep for a couple hours, and then start working again because I was young and crazy. But a lot of it was because I had a lot going on internally that I didn't want to deal with. So I just worked all the time. So I had an excuse not to have to face other people and not to have to face family and friends and answer any kind of questions. So, is that something that you do? And if you're going to spend time with loved ones, here's a big one. How much time do they want to spend with you? And would it be a positive thing to spend time with them, or would it be draining? Now you might think this is it doesn't make any sense to even think about that, but the truth of the matter is that sometimes the people that we love very deeply don't care about us quite as much. And you'll find I am Christian based. I understand a lot of the other major religions and believe that there's a lot of cohesiveness. There's a lot of things that are in all them. But one of the things that is in the Bible that I like to quote is, "Don't throw pearls before swine." The rest of that statement is, "Lest they trample them, turn and rent you asunder." So what does that mean? That means when you keep giving and giving and giving to people that don't appreciate it, a lot of times they will turn around and attack you. They'll destroy what you're giving them. They're not gonna take your energy and your kindness as what it's meant to be, but they're gonna spit it back out at you and attack you for it and make you feel worse. So that's what that verse means. There's a whole section where he talks about different things, but that's the verse that everybody is familiar with is don't throw pearls before swine. And I feel like that is some of the best advice anybody could possibly give you is to be careful who you give your energy to and who you're really allowing in your life and allowing to take a center stage in your life. So let's see what else Spirit tells us would be good things to look at. So, first again was heal the owl or heal the ouch. I want to say owie. Here's the out, heal the ouch. And the second one was coming apart. So, let's see what else Spirit says would be good things for us to consider. Now, remember, when you have 10 years, it's time. Are you going to be more reckless? Are you going to be more adventurous? Are you going to be more careful because you know that's how much time you have? Are you going to be more productive? And productive in what way? With what? Okay, so intention. So that's a 22, and 22 is also a mastership number. That is mastership over your emotions and taking stock of your family and your foundation. Um, Intention tells me, see how it's like he's on this little egg and it's a little owl and he has a little wish up there. You see that? Yeah, how cute. And he's in a field full of them. So intention. I would think that if you knew you only had a certain amount of time to do things in, that you would be much more intentional with your life. You would be much more intentional in the way you treat people, in the way you accept that you're being treated, in the way you treat your body, and in the things that you do. Because if you know you have X amount of time, you can plan it out. If you're that type of a person, you could become more spiritually oriented and do more things by way of your intuition. You can, be more inspired and see it in your pants. But you have those 12 years, so you still have to make sure you have a roof over your head. You still have to make sure that you can eat every day. You want to make sure that the people around you who you love know that you love them. And I would hope we would all want to be a force for good in the world. So those were the three things. I love the Healy ouch. That is so cute. And then we have coming apart. And then we have intention. So those are the three cards we picked for this discussion. So people ask, how do I know which way to go? How do I know what would be the right thing to do? What would be a waste of time? The method that I generally use and that I do with my clients a lot of times is we will go within and investigate how we feel throwing ourselves into the future into different situations. So, for instance, one of the things you may want to do is do a deep meditation and or even not that deep. I mean, cuz I know I'm like squirrel, squirrel, so I understand. You could do moving meditation. There's all different ways that you could do this. But what I want you to do is really feel your body, focus on your body. And I want you mostly to focus on your solar plexus, which is right here. It's just below your sternum. It's above your belly button. It's the center of your body. And your solar plexus will tell you whether something feels comfortable or not comfortable. If your solar plexus gets tight when you're thinking about something or feels like it's pulling you back, that's a no. If your solar plexus feel loose, like they're expanding and maybe there's more like blood in there and it's opening up because it's getting more oxygen and everything, that's a yes. And if it feels normal, like it doesn't feel any different, then that's it doesn't really make a difference. You go either way that you want. It's ambivalence. So if we take a few deep breaths and we breathe in and hold it and release slowly. And again, and release. And one more time. And relax. Now what I want you to do is just gently close your eyes. And what we're going to do is we're going to move ourselves ahead. We're going to leap forward in time. And we're going to try to imagine where we are at that moment. And sometimes that will be easy and you'll be able to see right away what it is that's going to happen around you. Sometimes you're just hearing sounds. Sometimes you just feel things. Sometimes it feels like nothing. And then later on, you might have a dream or something like that where things will come out. Basically, what we're doing is we're putting into our mind and our spirit. This is our question, and this is the direction we want to go in to find out what's happening. Okay. All right. So take a deep breath and release. Relax. All right. There's a ball of white light above our heads. It looks like the sun. From it emanates shafts of light that enter us through the tops of our heads and fills us with its energy. Feel the energy as it courses through you, cleansing, balancing, and protecting. See yourself as glowing from within. The ball of white light expands and descends until it encompasses your entire body and aura. Feel yourself as if seated on the softest and most comfortable of clouds. It gives you just enough support and just enough give that it helps your body to relax. This is our time machine. And in this time machine, what we're going to do is we're going to move forward in time. We're going to move forward 5 years. Feel the time machine as it lifts off and spins and moves you. And see the calendar moving 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, and it drops us in April of 2029. It's 2029. You step out of your time machine and take a look. What is around you? What do you hear? What do you see? How do you feel? Feel down into your solar plexus. Am I happy with my partner? If I have one. Am I enjoying my life? What if I take a new job? Does the new job work out? Do I enjoy it and enjoy the people who are a part of it? Am I still living in the same place? Have I moved? Where have I gone? Do I like it there? Am I content? Have I surrounded myself with love and companionship? And with each of these questions, we feel into our solar plexus to see how we're feeling. You can be as specific as you want to be or as vague. And allow your imagination and your intuition to guide you, looking at where you are in 2029. Take a deep breath and relax. With this information, we step back into our time machine, our beautiful glowing globe of light. We relax back into the seat and we ask to be returned to present day. And we feel the swoosh and the movement as we are placed back into our present seat, into our present body. We say thank you. And we feel the time machine dissolve. And we see the ball of white light contract and ascend back into the heavens, leaving us with its knowledge and with protection, clarity, and balance. Take a deep breath and relax. So let me know. We talked about some things we would do if we knew we only had, or we had 12 years to go. We would spend time with loved ones. We would try to heal old wounds. We would look to see what is the mark we're leaving in the world. Do we want to leave a mark on the world? What do we want our legacy to be? Who do we want to be remembered as? What are the questions that you would ask yourself? What are the things that you would do for yourself or for others? Would you use the remaining time just to build up something for your family? Would you use the remaining time to give your loved ones memories? as opposed to things. Hmm? Let me know. Let us know. So, doing that little time machine practice, oftentimes we could do it where it takes a longer period of time to allow you to get into it more. But since we're on a live, I didn't want to do it for too long. The other thing you could do is just close your eyes and imagine if you're asking questions. All right, if I take this job a year from now, where am I going to be? How am I going to feel? Oh, a trip to Greece is sounding good. Yes, definitely, Mandy. I'll come with you. This is my Pikachu, and she thinks she needs to sit in my seat, and I'm supposed to be sitting on the stool, and that she's not happy with me. Do you love me? Do you? I love you. Oh, you're so precious. Yes, you are. Okay. So she's my little buddy. Her name is Pikachu because she chose me, or she chose us, my son and I. Um, and it's always good to have things to love, regardless of how long you're going to survive on this planet and how long you're going to live in this lifetime, to have something that really brings out the best in you, and something for you to care about, and something for you to really open your heart to and really love, is essential in making the most of this particular lifetime. And as I said, whether you believe in past lives, future lives, this is the only life, whether you're an atheist or you believe in heaven and hell, whatever you believe, it really is best for all of us to try our best, do our best during this period of time. Peace is possible. No matter what's going on around you, you can make your little slice of the world a good place. You can make yourself that peacefulness or that loving heart that other people move towards and come into. So let's see. Now we've talked about the future. Let's talk about right now. Ooh. Is there anything that you guys are curious about right now that you want to ask questions? I'm doing another Colette Baron Reed. Oh, I don't know why I do that every time. Deck. It's called the Weaver's Oracle. I love it. It is very beautiful and very funky. And in this one, you are more than you know, meant for a magical, meaningful life. So that is true. So let's see what she's got to say. I also want to let you know that on April 9th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be on News for the Soul on my podcast, which is called Voice of Spirit. I will be talking about psychic attack. I also have a class coming up, which is by donation or by love offering. And that class is called High Vibe Survival Guide. What we're going to do is I'm going to try to meet regularly with a group, and we will do different methods of keeping your vibration high, how to look at things differently, how to feel better about where you are and who you are. And that will be starting on Wednesday, April 10th at 7 p.m. And that is over Zoom. Most of my classes and what did I do here? Most of my classes and my meetups are done over Zoom so that it gives everyone the opportunity to be there. Whoever has a cell phone or is on the internet can join in. And you could find those on meetup.com. And that's at Mystery Mystics and Metaphysics. That's the name of my group. And we have people calling in from all over. We've had people as far as the Netherlands and Australia join us, as well as people right in my own backyard in Philly. So, all right. Let's see. So, what do we most need to know right now? What little bit of information and hope can Spirit give us for us to have, let's see, a better week right now, or a better time? And whenever you see this is when you're meant to see it. That's one of the reasons why I don't often give dates as to when I'm actually recording. Oh, this is cool. Okay, so, oh, and again, I go the wrong way. I should do it with this. Painting Joy Across the Sky, and that is a number 23. 23 has a special meaning to me. I associate it with my grandmother. But since we were talking about a little bit of numerology, now I'm not heavy into numerology, but I do know a little bit, and that's what I draw on. So anybody who is a numerologist can also let us know in the comments what they think about these numbers and how they interpret them. So this is a 23, and 23 is a 2 and a 3. So 2 is your emotional self, your emotional body. It could also be relationships. 3 is your divinity, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, mind, body, spirit, however you want to look at it. So 3 is your whole self, which includes your spiritual self. 2 is your emotional body and how you deal emotionally with people and things. 23 becomes a 5, and 5 is the number of being human or mankind. And it talks about how you deal with others, the number 23. So that's where we are with that. And it says, painting joy across the sky. I do love these. They're so fun. I mean, look at all the fun that's happening there. So what does that mean? Well, we have an eclipse coming up within the next week on April 8th. And a lot of people are getting excited for that. Some people are afraid of it. But basically getting this card with that so close, it's kind of telling you to, well, even without that, but it's telling you to look up. Look up. Stop looking down. Stop trying to hunker down and do everything like in the lower chakras and in the lower base part of yourself, and really look up. Look up. Look at the sky. Look at the beautiful birds. Listen to the wind. Feel it playing with your hair. Look up into the trees. Look up and see what is around you and what's in front of you instead of looking down. So many people just have their nose to the grindstone and they're just constantly looking down. They watch their feet as they walk. Some of us have to do that. But even if you do, stop every once in a while and just look around you. Be aware of the world around you and how absolutely amazing it could be. Smile as you're walking. Be pleasant to others. Bring a little bit of that joy. You'd be surprised how infectious a smile can be. So many people walk around with a grimace on their face and looking angry all the time. Let's start a trend where we all walk around looking like we're pleasant and happy. If you hold a smile on your face, and if you smile for real, but you could fake it till you make it if you have to. When you smile, you activate different muscles in your face and you activate your body to feel more relaxed and your body to feel more excited and to have a better outlook and to just feel better. When you frown, everything is going down and you change your mood in a negative way instead of a positive way. So, painting joy across the sky. Look at the clouds. Pretend they're shapes. Try and imagine what they are. Look at the birds. Think of yourself as being free and flying and being able to sing and dance and do whatever you want to do when you have that freedom. Look at the beautiful colors. Look at everything around you that can be joyful. And joy, I believe the key to joy is loving something, loving someone, loving yourself. But love is what unlocks joy in our physical bodies. So that's something that you want to really strive for. So anybody who's watching, if you could just write in the comments, um, what do you think is more important, joy or happiness? Or do you think there's a difference between those two things, joy and happiness? And I know this is on a little bit of a delay, so I'm going to keep talking a little bit until we get some answers. Joy and happiness. I'll actually write it down. All right, joy or happiness? All right. Which one do you think is more important? And do you think there's a difference between the two? Or do you think they're basically the same thing? Do you think whatever brings you happiness can also bring you joy and vice versa? Mhm. So that's one of our questions we're asking today. Tough one. It can be. Happiness is something that's a little more fluid. Happiness comes and goes. Joy is deeper. Like when you really love, there's a sense of joy in your body and in yourself that is like almost overwhelming. And it's really deep. So it's when you have a sense of joy, it generally is something that is more all invasive and more consistent. Whereas happiness, like happy birthday, you're like happy for a minute or happy for a day, but happiness generally is something that is a little more fluid and a little more temporary. Whereas joy is much deeper. It's a stronger emotion. They're on the same line, but they're not exactly the same. You can have joy and happiness over it, but you could also have joy and be in a very precarious situation or be unsure of yourself or have something happening that you don't know what to do with or having chaos around you and you could still feel joy. One of the one of the things that I like to teach is called self-empowerment, completing the circle, self-empowerment. And what that is finding your joy and making that your undercurrent. So we all have a standard emotion or feeling or sense that we go to regardless of whatever is in the area around us, whatever's happening in our lives. And for a lot of people, that's anger, which is hurt. It could be something like fear. A lot of people have fear, anxiety, and things like that. Whereas if you make joy your undercurrent, if you feel empowered and you have looked into yourself and you've started to heal the things that make you feel off center and you surround yourself with love, loving people, and you project loving kindness, then you can have joy as your undercurrent. So that even if you're crying, even if you're in grief, it's easy to reach down there and feel the joy. So, for example, like my dad died this year, and we were very, very close, and I miss him very, very much. But even when I'm sad, when I'm thinking about not having him and not having my closest friend who also passed this year around, I can quickly think about all the times that we spent together, and I could feel into their energy, and I feel the absolute joy that they feel in being out of bodies that were not serving them anymore. So having joy as your undercurrent helps you to stay stable. It doesn't mean that you're not going to grieve. It doesn't mean that you're not going to feel anything else. It just means that that is your go-to emotion. That's where you feel most comfortable, which is a hard one. Yep, I'm going on the wrong side. Sorry about that. I was getting very dry. So, having joy as an undercurrent helps you be more stable and more productive in your life as a whole. I highly recommend. Okay, so that was Painting Joy Across the Sky. We did that one. Let's see. What else? What else? All right. Oh. This is interesting. This one came out. Look at that. When a witch must drink her brew. When a witch must drink their brew. We see a lot of corvids there. Ravens, crows. And that's very interesting, that little thing. Look at that. Isn't that cool looking? Things are coming out of it. They're on a it looks like a magical stick, and the back of the raven is water for the other birds to drink out of, and then you have these things coming out. And it's a number 9. So number 9 is about completion. When things have come full circle, that's a 9. Number 9 means that you've finished one thing and then you're about to go off into another. So when we receive another number 9, and in this, it's like when the witch must drink her brew, then we're talking about like reaping what you sow. It's time to get back what you put out. And what does that look like? What does that mean? That means it's time for things to come full circle. So if you've been a mean girl or a mean man, however you want to put it, a mean person, and you have hurt others, then things are coming full circle now. So either maybe you have to depend on them to help you. Maybe there was somebody that you bullied in high school is now an EMT and they have to save your life. Maybe it's not that extreme, but maybe you have to deal with your decisions in the past. That also speaks to having the foresight and the intention to do good and the intention to be a better world citizen, be a better person, be more loving, be kind. And being kind doesn't mean being a pushover. It doesn't mean listening to everybody else and agreeing blankly with everything. Being kind sometimes means telling your best friend that, yeah, that dress don't look good. So true kindness actually comes from integrity and authenticity. Is it kind to not tell somebody that, their fly is down? Might seem kind in the moment, but letting somebody know, like what do planes do? Fly, check it. Giving them the heads up before they walk back to the table to their date or their dates and their date's parents, say, putting yourself out there as an instrument for good. I don't know why this is doing this, but I think I'm going to get off shortly because I have this plugged directly into my computer. So we're not going over Wi-Fi, but I'm beginning to think that the Wi-Fi might be better. I'm not sure. But next time I am going to test out both of them and see which one works better. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave you guys for today. I'm going to let you know you can find me on YouTube, excuse me, under my name. You could find me on Meetup. I host Mystery, Mystics, and Metaphysics. And I also host Relationship Empowerment. Both those groups are on Meetup. They're under Brookhaven, Pennsylvania. And you are welcome to join. We do vet everyone because I have had a few trolls. So I get rid of them very quickly. So you do have to answer the questions that I ask in an actual way. I will also be on News for the Soul on my show, Voice of Spirit, which will be airing on Tuesday, the 9th. And on that day, I will be live on the air, so you can ask questions if you like, or you can email me at Geralyn@voiceofspirit.com and let me know if you have questions or things that you want me to address while I'm on the air if you can't make it, because it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday, and that is Eastern Standard Time. And on the 10th, we're starting the High Vibe Survival Guide. And this is by donation. You have to make a donation, but I don't tell you how much you need to pay in order to participate in the group. Okay. And that is starting on Wednesday, April 10th. It is a Zoom gathering, and it will be posted. It is posted already on my meetups, and I have to put it on my websites. I've been rather remiss on that. Thank you so much for sticking with me and for discussing our topic, which was, what would you do if you knew that you had 12 years left to live or 12 years left to be here? And then we did a couple of card pulls. Okay, it's GeralynStJoseph. You can find me at voiceofspirit.com or GeralynStJoseph.com. I hope to see you next time. Mahalo.